I'm Sally Jane and welcome to another Pink Hair Girl podcast. It's great to be with you again. I'm back in Cape Town and my mother has done so much better this time round on the chemo, so really things are a lot better than they were. Thank you so much to everybody for their support and kind words and just general love and good wishes from everybody. It is so much appreciated. I landed back in Cape Town, and of course, you land with your, back on your feet running, really, with 3 children. And this time of year is crazy. I don't know, is anybody else having like this end of the year freak out thing again? Everybody's tired and nerves are, frazzled anyway. And then, when you've got 3 kids and they've all got activities and all the, activities are coming to the year-end functions and whatever it is and work stuff and this and that, our weekends and stuff have just been insane. I mean, like really, Emma and I were actually talking last night and we were just saying that for sort of months now, we've just not even had a weekend off where there hasn't been something going on, here, there and everywhere with the children. This past Saturday, today's Monday, the 16th, 17th, somewhere there of November, I'm losing track. I mean, we're like halfway through November already. It's crazy. But we, we were sort of sitting and talking, and on Saturday, we had so many activities on that at one point we didn't actually know how we were going to fit them all in. And it was a case of I took Rachel to her puppy training classes in the morning, got back, tidied up because a friend of mine was coming to visit. She literally arrived and I said to her, get in the car, we're going to knitting club, because I'm picking somebody up and taking them to knitting club. And I was teaching a friend to crochet there. And Emma then had to take all 3 children and go to one of Caleb's jiu-jitsu events, leave that early to rush Rachel through to her ambassadors campaign on the other side of Cape Town, and then it was just like ridiculous. And then Rachel had a life-saving, she does nippers, junior nippers, which is the children's precursor to being a lifesaver one day. She had her little tests that she can do the competitions if she wants to, and because we live at the beach, we really felt it was very important that the kids do the nippers and learn. It's really cool. They teach the kids about like rip currents and how to swim safely in the sea, how to bodyboard, how to, get involved with safe swimming and safety at the beach, the different flags, what the different things mean, all the safety stuff. So it's really nice. They've got the parents in the water around the kids and teaching them stuff. I was there yesterday quite early because Rachel was doing this little test. And one of the parents said to me, if you hang around here long enough, they're going to rope you in. You're going to get involved in this. You're going to have to go and be a lifesaver and swim and surf and stuff. And I said, it's not going to happen. Never. It's just, I have lived here for 4.5, almost 5 years in Melkbos. And our beach is 5 minutes away, and you'll often see on my Instagram, we're often down on the beach. And I have never, in all the time we're here, been in the water above my knees. And I know there are those of you that are going to think that that is just the worst thing ever for somebody that lives at the beach. But our water is freezing. Like, you put your toe in and your toe actually gets so cold it aches. And I'm not into that. I don't do, I might swim in the sea, like get properly in, if I went to visit my sister in Durban, because she's got the lovely South Coast warm water, it's like, it's hot in the water as it is out. Here, the water is positively freezing. And the children have to swim in wetsuits. It's not going to happen. I am never going to get in that water. No, I don't like swimming that much that I'm willing to get into a wetsuit to get into freezing cold water. So I said if there was any life-saving needing to happen or any parents that they needed to get involved, it was the geeks department. He actually quite likes swimming in the sea. He's like, when we go to the beach and the children need to bodyboard or he's always in the water with them. I'm on the water's edge and they never will swim alone, and I can swim and I'm strong enough that I could get to them if anything were to happen, but I'm not going to voluntarily get into that freezing cold water. It's not fun. Well, I don't think it's fun. I know a lot of people, like it's quite a big thing now as an adult to learn to surf. When I was a kid it was always kind of the kids' domains, you know, like the cool kids at school would know how to surf. Because I mean, of course, I lived up in Pretoria, so I mean, we were inland, we weren't anywhere near any kind of a sea. So, you know, if cool kids moved from Durban or Cape Town to Pretoria and they knew how to surf, then they were like seriously cool. And a couple of, you know, people who came down here regularly at holiday houses or whatever could surf because their, you know, parents had a place or whatever. But no, I wasn't one of these cool kids that could surf. I would come down to the beach when we visited my grandparents here. I remembered freezing to death going into the water. I'm a terra firma kind of person. I really like my 2 feet on the ground, preferably with my 2 hands occupied with knitting. But I am not one for going up in the sky and under the water and into the sea and camping, like we established last time. God, I sound like such a stick in the mud. I mean, seriously. But yeah. So I said to them, if there was any life-saving or any parental involvement needing to happen, that was Emma's department. I do a lot of other things with the children. I'm involved in all the other activities. I mean, I am their school, so you know, I have them with me 24 hours a day, and I take them to all the other homeschool activities and all the other stuff that has to happen. So I don't feel bad about saying I am not doing the life-saving course as well. So is everybody else's time at the moment so hectic? Is everyone else's kids doing 1,001 things and just all over the place? I don't know if it's just us, but you know, life is seriously insane at the moment. So on that note, is everybody else's life now so insane? I mean, I'm sure those of you that have got children, I mean, there's exams going on and there's end of the year stuff and all the rest. It's just, yeah, it's quite crazy. I've seen a few people on Instagram with their Christmas trees up already. We always put ours up on the 1st of December. That's like on the evening of the last day of November. Now, does November have 30 or 31 days? Now I'm going to have to do that thingy, hey. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October. No, November has 30 days. Last time I sang the alphabet to you, and this time I'm counting the months of the year. You know, it's always fun around here. Anyway, so the 30th of November, we always put up our Christmas tree because it's the day I get out the children's advent calendars, and we put up all the stuff, you know, so on the morning of the 1st of December, they can wake up and there's something in their advent calendars. So we always put ours up on the 30th of November. When do you guys put up your trees? Have you put them up already? Is it starting to feel like Christmas yet for you guys? Have you got into the swing of things yet? I'm just feeling like I'm still, you know, trying to finish everything else that needs to happen. Anyway, so because everybody's lives are hectic, and a lot of people are doing Christmas knitting. I'm not doing Christmas knitting. I haven't even finished half the things I'm doing at the moment. I haven't even thought about Christmas knitting. No, I'm not knitting for anybody this Christmas. I'm terrible. I'm like, yeah, I've become selfish knitting deluxe. I just want to knit for me. And I was looking for something through my stash, and I started to get a little panic. You know that panic where you look at all this really nice yarn you've got in your stash and you think, I'm never going to get to knit all of this. And I want to knit all of it. It's nice. I've got nice stuff. And I keep thinking, I'm never going to get to knit all of this. Stop buying more yarn. And then I see more yarn, and then I buy more yarn. Or I get more. But I must admit, mine fits into 2 boxes. I've got 2 smallish storage boxes, and all my stash has to fit into those 2 boxes. It might be a little bit squashed into those 2 boxes, but I can't go over. That's like my limit. I must be able to fit it into these 2 boxes. Or I'm going to start knitting really fast or something like that, because I really want to keep a kind of I want to feel like at some point in my life I could finish. Let's not get funny here. Hey, no one can finish their stash because we keep buying more. But that I could get round to knitting most of it as I add more. Shall I say that? Oh my gosh, you know, us knitters are terrible. And I don't like excess. I don't like having too much stuff. And I don't like, yeah. But it's hard, hey? Geez, I find it hard to keep my stash like really contained. Anyway, this was supposed to be about the knit along. I'm getting completely sidetracked. Anyway, so I'm not doing Christmas knitting, but I know a lot of people are, and it's a busy time of year, and it's just everybody feels rushed. So we have extended the knit along end date to the 31st of January. So that gives everybody time to finish their Christmas knitting. Hopefully to still have a little bit of time if you're on leave or whatever after the holidays. You know, students will still have a bit of time off. Moms will have a bit of time off before their kids go back to school. If you are working, it's just generally a slightly calmer time of year anyway. So the knit along is going to go on until the 31st of January. So that's really good news for everybody. And there are some fantastic prizes. So I really want people to be able to have knitted as many items as they can or want to enter into it, and give everybody enough time to have finished their projects. So the knit along is kind of inspired by the Mzansi South Africa on My Needles book, which is all about where I live, which is all about patterns inspired by South Africa and the scenery and the beautiful stuff around me. And so the knit along is called Where I Live, and it's a chance for you to show me and tell me a bit about where you live, because I feel like my sort of one-sided conversation with you guys is all about South Africa and you know what we do here, and I'm not really getting a chance. Well, that's not true. A lot of you very generously share about your lives and what you're doing and where you're going and people, but it's so nice to have that tied into knitting as well. And there've been some great conversations on the Where I Live thread about, you know, people moving and people that have, you know, where people's family is from and, you know, all sorts of stuff. And so that's been really nice actually. So the knit along will be extended. That's the basic theme of my little rant and tangent here. There are a lot of prizes for the knit along. Michelle from Heartland has donated 2 skeins of yarn. One is a lace weight, and one is the sock weight in the same color that Claire did the Josie socks in. So those socks are up for grab. There's mohair. There are African inspired buttons, there are project bags, there are tea towels with South African recipes on them, there are beaded things from South Africa, there are Wilson's toffees if you watched my episode with Julia. There are all sorts of things about trying to keep it in quite a South African theme for the prizes, because the prizes are from, you know, from me where I live, and this and there's copies of the book, the Mzansi book, in both ebook and in hard copy to win. So there really are some very nice prizes. So please feel free to share about the knit along. Oh, and crochet along. You could, it's anything you can make. You know, anything you make. I mean, you can make it can be a garment, it can be an accessory, it can be a baby sock, it can be a teapot cover, it can be a mud cozy, it can be anything you like. Anything you like that you can tell me that this ties into where you live. And it's a very loose interpretation of that, really, you know, whether it's colors or scenery or whatever. I had to laugh. I'm sorry, Marissa, I'm going to share your, I mean, it's on the group anyway, but Marissa said she wants to do the chevron, the Cape Point chevron mittens in colors that reminded her of the African sunsets, you know, the grays, sort of charcoal grays and reds and yellows and all of this. And she knitted these mittens, and it was like something was bothering her the whole time, you know, what was this and wrong. And then she looked at them, she was like, I've knitted the German flag. And so she ripped it out. So I mean, there are some interpretations that seem to work slightly better than others. But anyway, yeah, any interpretation of where you live and that you can tie into that is fine. I mean, even if it's just, it's getting cold, I need a hat, you know, that'll do. So yeah, that's the knit along. Please come and join in. I'm not just doing prizes for finished objects. There's prizes for Instagram. If you use the hashtag where I live, I'm going to choose one from Instagram. There's prizes for the chattiest person, the person that chatted the most in the chatty thread. There's prizes for the first person, the first item finished, the most items entered, and then obviously random draws along the way. So there's lots of chances to win prizes, and it's not just for finished objects. So, I mean, even if you only finished one and you Instagram it and hashtag it as you go along, or you really chatty on the thread or whatever, you've got, you know, as much chance as anybody else of winning those prizes. So, yeah, come and join it. It should be really fun. Okay, so onto the knitting. What have I finished? I finished my mom's socks. Those of you that have watched before will know that my mom has breast cancer and is busy going through chemotherapy at the moment. And I am knitting her some socks because chemotherapy can change your body temperature quite a bit, and especially your hands and feet can feel very, very cold. And so I am knitting her some socks in it's Heartland yarn. And again, I think I did this last time. I can't remember the base that's got the cashmere in it. Again, we'll put little notes across the bottom telling you what it is. It is a merino cashmere nylon blend. So I have said to Mom that they're not essentially wear in your shoes, wear out everyday socks. They're much more in bed, at home, slippers on kind of socks to keep her feet warm. Now, you know, especially through the chemo and stuff. It is summer here, but she does feel quite a temperature difference. So this pattern is called Hope Can Rock, and it's written by Judy George, who's another South African designer. And it was written when she had a scare with a mammogram, when they came up with something and she was called back, and the anxiety of having to go back for you know, being called for something abnormal. Everything was fine with her, but she did these socks in honor of testing, you know, of mammograms, and we had this ability to pick up things really early. And in my mom's case, her breast cancer was picked up very early. She would never have felt it or known anything without the mammogram. And so there is an excellent chance that she'll be completely cured after this chemotherapy. So these are called Hope Can Rock socks by Judy George, and it's got the little breast cancer ribbon pattern on the sock. So those are these, and the colorway of these was called Toasty, which I thought was quite nice, make my mom's feet all toasty. So yeah. The one thing we need to talk about, pooling. Don't like pooling. Even in socks. I know, I mean, like, I know variegated yarn pools. I could never, ever, ever wear it in a jersey or a cardigan, sweater, big piece of, don't like it. I know people do. Personal preference, I don't like it. Don't do pooling at all. But with socks, it's a lot harder to control, you know. And so the first sock was fine. This is the first. I put it on the sock block, so you can also just see. There we are. And this one was fine. I mean, there's a couple of places where it's sort of stripes, you know. But on the whole, I actually thought it was fine. It wasn't too, and there's a little bit there, but it kind of makes a, it didn't bother me too much. On the second one at the back, so now I've not done this entire part of the sock. I'm just doing, I did the back of the leg plain. Don't like it. Look at all that pooling. And I know that, I mean, like my friend Sally, Wool Diaries, it has a great podcast, you must go listen to her. She likes pooling in socks. She thinks it's great and fantastic. She wouldn't wear pooling on anything else, but socks, it doesn't bother her. Somehow it still bothers me. I don't know. Anyway, it was the last part of the sock. It's on the back of her leg. She's wearing them in bed. I just had to make peace with it. I mean, I know I could have probably, you know, by the time it was really bothering me, I kept thinking it would go away. So at about here, I thought, you know, maybe I could do something, you know, could break it and knit from two ends of the ball. No. And I was kind of like, just had to control myself. And then it's socks. They're going on her feet in bed. She's going to love them anyway. The front side with the pattern looks pretty. Stop it. And I just needed to get them done. So I didn't put it out. I didn't change it. I didn't anything. Do you like pooling? Are you kind of like a don't worry if it pools kind of person? Or even in my socks, I'm not a fan. Anyway, they're done. Finished object. Yay me. So socks are finished. What else have I finished? Absolutely nothing. That's been it. But I got something finished. So listen, this time of year is just like flying by me. I got something finished. I am a hero. Right, let's move on to what am I working on? Because that... Now, my what I'm working on section kind of runs into my new yarn section as well, because I have zero impulse control. And so if I want to cast something on, I'm going to cast it on. And I'm going to guise it in the fact that I wanted to show you how pretty this looked when it was knitting. Actually, I just wanted to knit it. If you want to see someone with impeccable self-control when it comes to not casting on the yarn she wants to show you on the podcast before, then you need to go and find my friend Sally, Wool Diaries, who got beautiful self-stripe yarn and waited to show it on her podcast before she cast it on. Like, ultimate respect. I love you guys. I love podcasting. But if I need to knit something, I'm sorry. You're just going to have to see it in progress, because I'm not going to wait to show you a pretty ball of yarn. You're just going to have to see a pretty ball of yarn that's already in use. Ta-da! No, look. No, you really wanted to see how this was going to knit up. That's why I did this. Honestly. Look at this. I found a new dyer. If you have watched Sally's podcast, you'll have seen her talk about M from Electric Carnation, and she sells on Hello Pretty, which is like a South African Etsy. And I will put links in the show notes to her. Go and check her out. She will custom dye for you anything you want. You just tell her what you want, and she does it, and she does it amazingly. I said to her, I wanted a variegated, short color repeats, because I don't like pooling. And I wanted like a Monet, you know, Monet water kind of inspired lilies, water, you know, the kind of brushwork that Monet does. Look at this. Look at this. It looks like a Monet. It's just beautiful little short repeats. The color, it looks like a pole. Oh, that thread hanging over the top here. So now, wasn't this worth me casting on and not waiting? Come on. I think it is so beautiful. I'm so in love with this. I am just so. And she loves doing custom dye. She loves it. If you tell her, this is what I'm looking for, this is the kind of thing I want, please make it for me. And that's what she does. I mean, look, this is just so beautiful. So I'm sorry that I didn't wait to show you my new yarn without being used. But yeah, I just had to kind of cast it on. And I have 1,000 other things I should have been doing. And yeah, there we go. So my Monet inspired socks, which I am loving. I was also going to cast on the other yarn that I got from her, again under the pretense that I needed to show you guys how it knitted up. But Sally told me off, and she told me I have to start finishing some stuff, and I can't just be casting on all the time. So the other one I got, I said to her, she does self-stripe. She dyes self-stripe as well, and it's got nylon in it, which is hard to find in South Africa. So I am delighted. She will dye whatever I want. It's got nylon in it. She's got ones with stellina. This one comes with sparkle, so you can have it with sparkle or without sparkle. Her prices are exceptionally reasonable. Yay for finding her. This, I don't know how well it's going to show. I think it's coming out a bit. Yeah, that's not. Anyway, can you see the sparkle? I don't know if you can see the sparkle. Anyway, it is orange and pink, because, you know, I'm like having my orange kick still. Orange and pink self-stripe with sparkle. Come on, I mean, like, that's just, I'm going to have to knit these over Christmas because it's really festive-y kind of. That said, I might have ordered some yarn from her. I might have ordered some Christmas self-stripe, because everyone needs Christmas socks. It is going to be at least 30 degrees here in Cape Town by the time it's Christmas. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit. I will look it up and I will insert it, because I always know when people talk about Fahrenheit, I don't have a clue. And then they're making it sound like it's so hot, and I've got no sort of frame of reference. So I will include what that is in Fahrenheit, so you can at least go, wow, that's hot. So it's probably going to be at least 30 degrees in Cape Town, but everyone needs Christmas socks. So I ordered from Emma, I ordered some Christmas self-stripe for me and for my swap partner, because I'm doing the South African Christmas swap at the moment. So I ordered some self-stripe for me and for my swap partner. And I ordered some Halloween, because I missed Halloween this year, doing Halloween socks. So just while I'm ordering, and because I need to pay courier costs at the moment because our post office is still full of rubbish. Apparently the strike is over, But there's such a backlog of stuff from not having post office not operated in 4 months that it is taking a long time for stuff to get anywhere. So most people are using couriers at the moment. So because I'm paying courier fees, I had to make it worthwhile, of course. I mean, yeah, makes perfect sense to me. So I ordered my Halloween self-stripe and some Christmas self-stripe. And what else? Christmas self-stripe for my partner, Halloween for me. Oh, I know what else I ordered. I ordered some yarn for Claire's birthday. She is so frantic at the moment, knitting, designing and knitting and feeling a bit stressed. And it makes me sad when my friends are stressed. And I know she hardly gets any time to knit for herself. A lot of his samples or magazine stuff or all the rest. So I'm going to knit her some socks. So I'm going to make some socks for Claire's birthday and Christmas. And because I just haven't had a chance to get organized. I didn't finish the stuff. I got the elephant and the dinosaur finished in time to go with Kate that was taking some stuff, but I didn't get all the stuff for Claire finished as well. So I need to finish those, and then sometime next year when somebody's going back, I need to send those back to her. So I'm going to knit her some socks. So I asked Em if she would dye me, and I found a picture, and I also asked Claire what colors she liked about Johannesburg, and I asked if Em to dye me a self-stripe in the kind of Joburg colors. So yeah, that's what those are the 4 yarns that I'm getting. So I mean, I might be knitting orange and pink. Ooh, throwing yarn at myself. I might be knitting orange and pink self-stripe with sparkle in for Christmas, or I might be knitting Christmas socks. Maybe I'll try to finish my Christmas socks by Christmas. I suppose it depends when they get here. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Anyway, oh, another thing I wanted to show you about Em, it's so cute. What she does is, I took off the one from the center because I was going to cast it on, but she ties a little bead. I mean, it's just a plastic bead to both ends of your yarn. So this one is tied and tucked in, and your center has a little bead tied and tucked in the top so you can find your ends so quickly. It's ingenious. It's amazing. And she's also got I know Sally showed it on her podcast. I need to find mine. I'll stop this in a minute and I'm going to have a look for it and I'll show you. A yarn thickness guide. But I mean, I'll show you more of that. It'll make sense if I actually show it to you. Anyway, so all of this preamble to show you was what I got and what I'm working on. So you've seen my Monet socks. The other thing I'm working on, and why I probably don't have that much progress at the moment, is because I needed to do some frogging. I don't like frogging. Not a fan. But when you design stuff, you have to frog, because if it's not right, it has to be right. You know, if you're designing stuff. So I was designing my rhino mittens. I mean, some of you will have seen some of it on Instagram. So I'm such a dork. Like, seriously, I'm such a dork. Emma made me graph paper. You can see the, like the little checks, so that I can use it for graph paper. But it is supposed to be used this way, this lengthways, because it was for the baobab tree. And so I used it long ways, and I did the baobab tree, and of course it worked out fine, because knitting stitches tend to be wider than they are high, because the 2 V's of your stitch tend to kind of make it a bit, it makes it a bit fat. Anyway, so what did I do when I used this paper? I turned it this way. I turned it this way. And so I did my rhino, and he didn't look bad on this at all. And then I knitted him, and he turned out like short, like narrow and long. I mean, he looked hilarious, like totally ridiculous. So I had to pull it all out, and all this stranded knitting, this, oh, yeah. Anyway, so I pulled all the rhino out, and I started again, and I'm not finished. I mean, I was right up above the top of the rhino. Anyway, there's the bottom of him starting again, and it just says protect here, and then on the top it'll say save, for like save and protect, and then the inside gets a paw print for the dogs. It's for the rhino dogs, to raise money to have a rhino dog. The rhino dogs help to protect the rhinos from poachers, and it's sort of fun. And so that's why, I mean, the stranded is slow going for me. I'm not a expert or quick stranded knitter by any chance, so it's a bit slow going. So the and I had to rip it all out and knit it all again. Got such a moaning Myrtle. Anyway, so that's what I'm knitting. I mean, there's lots of other stuff, but that I'm not actively knitting on anything else at the moment. That's really what I'm doing. But oh, I didn't tell you, in the finished objects, well, I might have only finished one thing. Caleb finished a finished object this time. I should go and find him. He's in the garden. I make them stay outside because then they can keep the dogs quiet outside. So I might actually get Caleb. I might go find the yarn thickness card and Caleb and get him to come and show you his finished object. So he's so proud of it. And he did really, what's the little hat that he was working on before for going to England? So let me go find Caleb and then I can show you those, his finished object. So here's Caleb. Here's Caleb and here's his hat. Show them your hat. What a great hat.
Probably 150 days it took me.
I don't know how long it took you, my boy.
I'm just guessing.
What are you guessing? Look at his lovely hat.
This took me about 3 days.
It fits him so nicely.
This took me about 3 days.
We'll show them that in a minute. Let's just finish talking about your hat. It fits him so well. I put some pictures on Instagram. Put your head down so you can see the top part. I helped him with the decreases. So what I would do is I'd do the decrease row and then give it to him and he would knit the next row and then give it, he would do I would do the decreases and so on. And then he got that, I showed you in last episode, he got the sugars and cream washcloth yarn. So we have cast on and he's knitting himself a little green washcloth. And we need to start the decrease part now. That's what Caleb's been knitting. And he's got a finished object. So that was very exciting, my boy. Did you enjoy knitting it? What do you want to knit next?
Probably my scarf.
A scarf. What are you going to knit your scarf from?
The yarn I got for my birthday.
The yarn for your birthday. Okay, cool. All right, my boy. Thank you very much. So bye-bye.
Bye.
So that was Caleb and his finished hat, which I think came out really well. He's dead chuffed with it. And I'm so pleased that he enjoys knitting. It's really fun. He's very meticulous and he just sits and does all his stitches. And I mean, I pick up if there's a dropped stitch or every now and again I'll, fix whatever the problem is. But yeah, I'm really chuffed he's enjoying it. The other thing I said I would show you was the yarn cards from Electric Carnation. I hope that's focusing there. So what it does is, if you don't know what the weight of the yarn is, you measure it against these threads on the side here, and it'll tell you what weight it is. Because sometimes something might have lost its band and you're not sure, or sometimes a yarn's labeled something or you don't know what that is, or so then this nifty little thing tells you. You just put your yarn against the thingy here, and then it tells you, okay, that particular thing is a cobweb or a lace or a baby weight fingering sport DK worsted Aran and bulky, and then it's got a inch measure across the bottom, and on the back here it tells you which needle sizes to use for what, and normally how many yards it looks like. Yards per pound, and the ply and the anyway, so it's got all some information on the back. That's not focusing. It's not anyway, I'll put some pictures on. So these are quite cute. So Electric Carnation does these as well as the self-stripe yarn, and you can get a custom dye and all the rest. She's got little yarn cutters, and she's been a great find. As I say, she's on Hello Pretty, so I'll put those details up for you. So that's what I am knitting, and that's what I have finished. And so I just thought I'd talk quickly about what I'm some of the plans, some of the things I'm thinking about at the moment. And the one is that the weather in Cape Town is quite changeable. There have been a few days recently where it's actually been quite chilly. And I know I've spoken about the fact that Cape Town weather isn't as predictably warm as it can be up in Pretoria. It just gets hot and sort of stays hot. Although, that said, last week, Sally was telling me that it actually wasn't that warm up in Joburg. They had quite a bit of rain. But I find myself often in need of like a light, you know, like just something to put on, but that's not, you know, a full cardigan or sweater or whatever. And I was thinking of making a featherweight or something like that. And I want to use this. Can you see it's got sparkle? I don't know if you can see the sparkle. Anyway, it's got sparkle. Just believe me if you can't see it. This is the Heartland Sutherland lace in the Sweet Nothings colorway, and it is 75% superwash, 20% silk, and 5% Selena. So I mean, it's lovely. I mean, it's really the silk. It's gonna be. So I wanted to make a featherweight, but I don't think I'm gonna have enough. I'm tall, and we've spoken about tall people wearing things that look short. So while I don't mind if I make a full length cardigan, because the featherweight is actually, I think it's cropped and it's got short sleeves, and that's just gonna look silly on me. I'm gonna look like my clothes shrunk in the wash. So I think I'm gonna have to make it the body the full length. Then I don't mind if the sleeves are sort of 3/4-ish or something like that, if it's a really lightweight cardigan. But I don't think I'm gonna have enough. This is only 800 meters, and it seems to be that the least amount for a featherweight you need is 800 meters. But I don't have any other lace enough. I've got some undyed cashmere, which is, you know, thin enough, but it, I don't know how well those are going to combine. So I don't know what to do, because I want to use this. I must actually ask Michelle, I wonder if she could dye me another one like this. Or maybe if I got a plain grey or something and did it stripy. I don't know. I just really want to make a featherweight, and I don't have enough lace. And so I'm feeling sad. You know, I've got lace in my stash, but all of it is just, you know, one skein, or I don't have like a proper amount. And I think being tall, I mean, I saw with the Lush cardigan that, I mean, I had added extra for being tall and extra because I'd wanted longer arms, and I'd finished off with about so much left. So I really do need extra. I'm not going to be able to get away with making it long enough. And I don't know. Do you think there's a similar pattern like that I'm going to get away with 800 meters? If you know of anything, please let me know. I don't know, because I want to use this. It's pretty. And I suppose this would make a really nice shawl though as well. A really nice big shawl. I don't know. Maybe there are kind of cardigan shrug patterns that use a lace weight that use 800 meters. It's just not going to work out, is it? I mean, the geometry of my size is not going to change, and the amount of knitting you're going to get out of 800 meters is not going to change, even if I change the patterns. I mean, I'm going to, like, I think I am hoping for the impossible here. Anyways, that's what I've been thinking of, making a lace, you know, a featherweight. Yeah, I really hope to use stash for that, but I'm not so sure now. Anyway, the other thing that I dug up, that I thought I should actually finish, was a shawl that I started for my wedding. Yeah. Again, it's one of those, I just didn't get time to finish it. And it wasn't that I was I was sort of procrastinating. I was wanting to make a cardigan for my wedding, actually, and I didn't get the yarn in time. And so by the time it just got too late for me to actually knit the cardigan. And by that time I thought, well, let me just make a shawl, because in February, it's quite hot anyway. We got married in February. It's often quite hot in Cape Town, and I probably won't need a cardigan. Maybe I'll just make a shawl. But with all the wedding preparations and everything else we were doing, and I did a lot of handmade stuff, I just didn't have enough time to finish either. Yeah. I think if I had started the cardigan when I planned to, I would have, but I didn't get the yarn in time, so yeah. So I was making a shawl in this sort of pink color. Is that coming out orange on there? La, la, la. Let's see if we can find the spot that shows you the pretty yarn. I don't know. Anyway, it's a kind of it's pink, but it's got a kind of, it's sort of not stripy, but kind of a semi-solid kind of effect, you know, with the, so I did a garter stitch body, working from the point, actually started there, and then worked up and cast off along the top, and then picked up, and then it was going to have a lace edge, with sort of hearts on somehow, and I hadn't quite thought of that yet. And then I stopped because when you don't finish something in time for whatever it's for, then you kind of lose the momentum. But now in February it's going to be the Geek and my 2nd wedding anniversary, and so I thought I should haul it out and I should start looking at it and maybe working at it over the holidays so that I can release it around about the time of our anniversary, because I was going to call it the Afrikaans name either just lief, which is love, or ek het jou lief, which is I love you. I know, isn't it sweet? Bit dorky. Anyway, so I'm not sure. So I hauled this out. Actually, I was looking for something else in my stash and I saw it, and I thought I should just finish it. You know, I've got plenty of yarn, and I don't have the band or anything with me to tell you what this is. This is coming up very bright on there. It's not quite such a screech bright pink. It's la, la, la. No, can't find it. Anyway, it is was dyed by a friend of mine that lives in Germany, Gogs. She doesn't sell, but she dyes beautifully. I wish she would. And I've got quite a lot of it, so I should just finish this shawl. So the idea was to do the simple triangle here, and then to make quite a big lace bit coming down from that. So I think I might haul that out and work on it again. So that's something I'm planning to do, and the featherweight was also in the planning. But I want to finish the rhino mittens, and then, I mean, because things like this I need to think, you know, and also the rhino mittens I need to think. So I always like to have some sort of vanilla socks on the needles as well, and that's why I cast on the Monet ones, because if I'm out and about with the kids, or if I'm just watching TV or tired at the end of the day, then I need something that's, you just mind this, just to knit. So the kids and I watched Jumanji last night. I haven't seen it before. I mean, it's an ancient old movie, and it was fun. It was really quite sweet to watch, and a bit bittersweet to watch Robin Williams, really, because I've always enjoyed his work, and yeah, I've always enjoyed him, and you know, watching him, you can celebrate really how great he was, what a great actor he was, but it's terribly sad as well that he was internally so sad too. Anyway, that's all my knitting. That's what I'm knitting, that's what I'm working on, planning. All the rest, you caught up to date with the hecticness of life. My mother is so much better this time around. It's tough. Look, it still looks like, not take anything away from how tough the chemo is. But she didn't get neutropenic this time. She didn't land up in hospital, so yay for that. And yeah, that was something really positive this time. So I'm dead chuffed about that. I'm still going to see if I can get the geek to do an Afrikaans word of the day. They are not his favorite thing to do. He's a bit camera shy, but I know people really enjoy it, so I'm going to try and convince him if he'll do another one. But anyway, I wanted to do something about South Africa. It's not an Afrikaans word at all, but it is a phrase or a thing that South Africans use that confuses everybody else endlessly, because it makes no sense. I am the first one to admit that it makes no sense at all. But in case you come across some South Africans and we use it without even being aware that nobody, I mean, if we think about it logically, it makes sense that nobody else is going to understand what the heck we are talking about. But it makes sense to us. So I'm just going to explain this little South Africanism to you in case you come across some of us Saffers, because we're everywhere. So I'm going to explain this to you. Right. Now, if you ask a South African if they will do something for you or when something is happening or whatever, and they respond, now. I'm going to do it now. Will you please make me some coffee? Yeah, I'll make it now. That does not mean now at all. Okay. Normally, when you like reiterate a word twice and a word that means imminently, you know, I'm going to do it now. And then if you repeat the word twice, if you say I'm going to do it now, it really should mean I'm going to leap up this instant and I am going to go and do the thing we talked about. No, it doesn't. It means later in South African. I don't know why. It just does. So if my children say to me, Mom, can you make lunch now? Or Mom, can I have whatever? And I say, now. I'm basically meaning leave me alone. I'm not doing it now. We'll do it later. So if you, and the other one we also do is just now. That also means later. Basically everything means later with South Africans. We're a bit laid back that way. So if you want something done and we say now or just now or whatever, it all means later. We're not doing it now at all. We're doing it later if we do it at all. So just to clear that up for anybody that's come across South Africans that say, oh yeah, I'll do it now. Don't stand there waiting for us to do it because we ain't doing it. We are doing it later. Probably much later. We're just trying to get rid of you and put you off and sort of, we're not very good at saying no. There is actually, and this is Afrikaans, there is actually Afrikaans ja nee, which is yes, no. You know, can you help me with ja nee? And I don't want to say no, but I also don't want to say yes. So we have a phrase for this. We actually have ja nee. We have a yes, no. And that's what now also. I'm going to do it later. I'm not going to give you a specific time. I don't want to say no. I'm not going to say no, I'm not doing whatever you want right now. I'm just politely procrastinating. So there is a little bit of insight into South African procrastination. And I will try and get the key to do an Afrikaans word of the day, but he may say, yeah, not so sure about that. Have a lovely week, everybody. Enjoy knitting. Come and join the knit along, and I will see you next time. Bye.